I'm Natalie Nisley. I'm a senior in mechanical engineering. Hi, no, sorry. Hi, I'm Natalie Nisley, and I'm a senior in mechanical engineering. Okay, so a few big things about me. I'm really into running. I'm training for a half marathon right now. I just had my long run today. So working on building up to that. It's in October. And then I grew up dancing, so that's a huge part of my life. And I want to get back into it this semester. I love like going to hip hop classes and that kind of thing, but I did all kinds of stuff growing up, like ballet, jazz, tap, hip hop, lyrical, modern, all the things. So that was my life. I also am really into CrossFit. I started that almost a year ago, and I went to the CrossFit Games actually, and it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And I got a selfie with Rich Froning, who's a famous CrossFitter. So that was really fun a couple weeks ago. I am moving to Minneapolis next summer for a full-time job with Train Technologies in an engineering role. So I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm moving with actually one of my best friends that I met this summer in my internship. Also got the same location as me for this this rotational program we're doing. So that'll be a lot of fun. And let's see, what else? I work for CORE here in the College of Engineering, which is like the living learning program. And last year I was the lead for the group, and this year, since it's my last semester, I'm laying low and kind of just working on logistics for the group. I also love teaching computer science to K through 12 students. I started doing that. I started my own club when I was a junior in high school, and I've been doing that ever since. So I work for Girls Who Code here at Michigan State, and yeah, it's one of my favorite hobbies. It's really fulfilling. Yes. I would say I definitely have to deal with male egos a lot, and I think it's given me a lot of perspective in life, just dealing with different people, or maybe people that don't respect you in the same way that they might respect other males. Yeah, I had an experience at the first company I interned at, and there was one individual in particular who was really unpleasant, kind of a gym bro, like anti-vaxxer, just really not my cup of tea. And yeah, one day in the lab, he was just pestering me about the vaccines and telling me I was going to turn into a zombie. And I just said, shut up, stop talking to me. I'm not going to deal with this right now. And sometimes that's what you have to do. So, you know, usually I try to give people the time of day, but it gets to a point where you just have to say, leave me alone. And after that day, he never talked to me again. And I really appreciated that. But I've also dealt with a lot of great people, and I think people's minds are changing a lot, and especially with the company I'm with now, they do a really good job of building up and trying to hire from marginalized groups or minorities, and especially within engineering, women being minority in engineering. So I've seen a lot of that changing too. So since Survivor can be a male-dominated game, and males are often the ones to win, the ones to appear as heroes, the ones that are the strongest, may seem like they're carrying the team or carrying an alliance, for example. I think having to be around so much of that kind of personality in my day-to-day life has made me understand it better, and will make me better at working with it in the game. And I can also kind of pull from some of those things that are seen as strengths in men and show that through myself as well. But it'll also help me to kind of keep people in check and know where people's minds are as well. If I find the right group of women to work with, I would be all for tearing down the men and empowering the women. And that's kind of been a theme in my life recently. So I had a great group of friends that I met over the summer, all the women, and they were just great. We would have meetings every Thursday at lunch and just talk about how much we hated all of the men and all of the HR violations they should have. And, you know, it's really empowering sometimes to have that kind of group of people you can lean on. And I would be pretty happy if I find a group of women that I can go to the end with in this game. Am I a man hater? No. But, you know, a lot of people have flaws. Men, you know, sometimes can be blind to the world around them, but so can everyone. My strategy going into the game, I think it's to be nice on the surface and nasty under the surface. I want to make people feel like they can trust me, kind of lay low, not be this huge personality that might be intimidating or get me voted off early, but I want to make little connections with everyone and then use those connections to weave my way to the end. And if that means tearing someone down, possibly breaking an alliance, lying, sometimes that's what it takes. Not afraid to stab anyone in the back. I don't want to be the dominant player. I think, yeah, my strategy, it's definitely going to evolve, I think, as the game goes on, depending on who I find I can lean on and work with. I definitely want to identify that person as soon as possible, though. I think while I would take the chance of stabbing someone in the back or maybe turning on someone, I think it is also important to make sure you do have your right-hand man that you can lean on and take to the point where you can't take them any further. I mean, if you think about cops are us, right? So there comes a time where you can only go with someone so far, but I think it's good to have a partner in this game. I think I can make it to the end, and I think I can win. I think I can win. I'm going to win. I've waited 4 years for this. I'm going to play as hard as I can. Yeah. So I've been a big Survivor fan for a while now. I watched it with my parents growing up and then took a few years off kind of during high school, stopped watching it. And my best friend, Natalie Burt, a different Natalie, actually got me back into it. I think in season 40 was when I started watching it again, and then I went back and rewatched a bunch of the seasons. And her and I have wanted to have a MSU Survivor game since we were like freshmen in college. We've wanted this the whole time, and it's finally happening, and I'm so excited. I have wanted a Survivor since my freshman year, and I'm so excited to be a part of this. It's my last semester, and I'm here to play, and I'm here to win. I've wanted there to be a Survivor game at MSU since my freshman year, and it's finally happening my last semester, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. I am here to play, and I'm here to win. I think a strength for me in the game is that I'm pretty in control of how I react to things and my emotions and not making rash decisions, and I'm a pretty calculated person, so I can use that to kind of get a read on everything, make connections with people, but not stand out too much, and then use that to my advantage and strategize with that. I don't think I'm emotionless. I think I'm maybe reserved with my emotions, and I'm good at keeping them inside in situations where they should be kept inside. And I think I'm not emotionless, but I'm also not overly emotional. I'm not overly reactive to things, and I think that can be beneficial when you're dealing with different personalities, and one outburst can change the course of your game. So it's really important to be in control of what you're saying and being aware of how other people are going to receive it. I think being a senior will give me an advantage. I mean, I'm not sure how old other people are, but I know I would have played this game a lot differently as an 18-year-old just entering Michigan State. So I think with being a senior, I've had kind of more life experiences. I've lived in 3 different states since I've been in college. I've met a lot of different people. I've been thrown into situations where I moved somewhere new and was surrounded by not a single person that I knew, and was able to build new relationships with those people. And so I think applying those skills to this game where I don't know anyone and I'm dealing with different personalities and people from places I have never met before, it will give me a lot of benefit in this, being able to apply those life experiences. I think a weakness for me, a potential weakness may be separating the game and life, because this isn't an island. This is integrated into my regular life in a different way than maybe a normal Survivor game would be, and these are people that I could be friends with the whole semester, right? And beyond that. So kind of understanding that it is a game and everyone is here to play, and yes, we can still be friends, but sometimes you have to make some sacrifices in order to get further in the game. And I think I could see myself in maybe a certain situation struggling to make that separation and make those hard decisions to maybe let someone go that I'm friends with. Got it. Yes, I think I want to empower the women to take charge. However, I'm definitely not opposed to working with men as well, but I think it's a really moving thing when you see women taking charge and being leaders and survivor winners when, in situations where it's not normally seen. So, for example, I work for Girls Who Code, like I mentioned, and a big part of that is empowering women and, when they're young, and giving them the confidence before it's already torn down to be successful in STEM, in computer science, whatever they want to do with their lives, but giving them that tool. And I find that so rewarding to see that confidence and see the skills that these young women can develop. And I like spreading that same kind of energy everywhere I go. So I'm always in support of women lifting each other up, and that's definitely something I'd like to see in this game. My strategy is to manipulate the men and empower the women.